thankfully, it's almost over. This year at our rehabilitation center, we saw more bad driving than we've ever witnessed before. And, well, quite frankly, that's making me really nervous. Because later on in this, our final episode of the season, the 3 most abysmal motorists in the entire country will be doing their final road test. And it won't be done here in our controlled environment. It will be done outside on public roads. And I will be in the passenger seat. When it's all said and done, we'll hand out the ugly hardware and the even uglier title, Canada's Worst Driver. Canada's worst drivers are Lance, Dale, and Brad. The 3 finalists for Canada's worst driver are all in the exact same boat. And for their first challenge in this, our final episode, they'll all be in the exact same car. And their challenge will be to see if they can balance this free-floating gimbal. And it won't be just in any car either. It'll be in our ginormous K-car. Once you're in here, you can't see the gimbal at all. Before I got in, I took a good look at where my wheels are, and I know that I've got 3 or 4 inches that way, and then I have to turn all the way this way.
During their rehabilitation, we taught the bad drivers that shifting a vehicle sideways can be done with an S-turn.
All the way to my right, tip, all the way to my left, and now reverse.
After half a dozen S-turns,
now I'm getting somewhere. If I straighten my wheels and come forward, I might just have it.
your left foot should never touch the brake pedal, except in rare situations. Having to go uphill 1 inch is one of those situations.
Yes. Yes. That is it.
Balancing took me 2 minutes.
Now, let's see how long it takes Canada's worst drivers.
At home in Ottawa, our first nominee, Lance, has a very real driver's license, but no real driving skill.
Dude.
Today, Lance will drive the gimbal challenge.
I just want to show you the course, Lance.
Just as soon as he throws up a little. Gilles nominated Lance as Canada's worst driver. He and the other nominators will watch their loved ones drive this challenge. And Lance is finally ready.
And so begins the final episode of Canada's Worst Driver.
Lance starts by slowly crawling the K-car forward enough that the gimbal tips. Now he just needs to turn his wheels and back up.
Man.
In 5 minutes, Lance does a lot of tipping, then tries to start again.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're good.
Good might be stretching it. After 15 minutes,
I don't know if the tires are straight or not.
Lance just isn't getting it.
Ooh, that's not the right direction.
With only 8 minutes left, Lance does manage to close in on the center.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Just when it feels like Lance won't make it,
make it happen.
He teeters on the brink of success.
Lean back, seat back, lean back.
Jump in the back seat.
Park.
Lance succeeds with just seconds to spare.
What is up?
Well, yeah, what is up with that anyhow?
Our next Canada's Worst Driver nominee hails from St. Catharines, Ontario. Dale has a real driver's license. That license is something her nephew, John, would like to see cut up into little bits.
Honestly, the whole family thinks that she needs help.
Oh, this is what I do.
Today on our gimbal course, Dale gets help from an unlikely source.
Keep the wheel going that way. Keep the wheel going that way.
The balance point has been found by Lance, and he wants to share that knowledge.
We're not gonna look like morons on TV. This is amazing. Holy crap, Dale. Keep going. Keep going.
Dale says she's changed in rehab. But this challenge, it's Lance who's changed.
There we go. Stop. That's good.
Holy
That's
whoa,
good.
whoa.
Stay there.
Stay there. Stay
Lean
there.
forward.
Lean forward.
Damn.
You got it.
By following Lance's directions, Dale beat Lance's time.
I did it!
Look at that.
The final nominee for Canada's Worst Driver resides on an isolated farm. Brad has a real driver's license. But Brad is such a bad driver, he had his license revoked by the authority that is Donna, his wife.
It's really awkward to have a husband that doesn't drive well.
Brad lives with Donna and her father, but Gil recently had a heart attack, and Donna recently had her shoulder ripped apart by a horse, leaving Brad as this family's only driver.
Please don't up my car. Like, seriously. Okay?
Won't.
The problem is, Brad is completely unskilled behind the wheel.
I'm trying to make sure what I want.
Cares about him, man?
And Donna's constant belittling doesn't help. Today, Brad quickly maneuvers to the center of the gimbal.
Okay, you're fine.
Tight maneuvering is something Brad could not do before rehab.
Oh my gosh, you're almost there. Yep. Holy mackerel.
Own it, baby!
When rehab began,
Don't go far.
I thought Brad would get more out of this process than anyone.
Yeah, I think it's center now. All right, dude.
And he has become much more knowledgeable. And just as important, his wife has learned to be supportive in her own aggressive way.
Own that bitch! Own it!
There we go.
It's okay. You're doing great.
Over the next 4 minutes,
Oh, yeah, baby, you're in the spot, baby!
Brad shows no real stress. In fact,
Doing it, man.
You are.
Brad seems almost like a well-balanced driver.
Is this the success? Is this it?
Yes!
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 Right there.
Come on, man!
Lean back. Lean back. Lean back.
There's no leaning necessary.
Oh,
The gimbal is settled.
yeah! Come on!
Brad, way to go, Brad.
Brad is getting hugs from everyone.
I told you, I keep telling you. You're so awesome. Mwah.
When we come back,
Give her, yeah!
our annual Mega Challenge helps us decide who gets called Canada's worst driver.
He may call me Canada's worst driver if he wants, but I still learned a lot.
On staff at the Driver Rehabilitation Center, we have 4 experts. Basic driving instructor, Peter Mellor. Advanced instructor, Billy Platerno. Psychologist, Dr. Lauren Kennedy Smith. And ex-highway cop, Cam Woolley.
Let's go.
We are going to do some driving with a trailer.
Throughout rehab, these experts have been educating our bad drivers.
We're getting there.
But now, the education is over. This year, like every year, we're going to end our time at rehab by doing a mega challenge that encompasses at least one aspect of every other challenge done in rehab.
And it all starts in our Mustang.
The first component is threshold braking. Drivers must go 50k an hour and not brake until these flags.
Just made it around.
The threshold braking corner leads to a
Slow section.
If Canada's worst drivers keep their wits about them, they'll get through here without too much, watch that rim, without too much hassle. Yeet!
This yellow corral lines up the reversing section,
Okay, I got this.
which leads to a donut-making section.
Yeah. Now,
Now the drivers have 5 minutes to make at least one donut.
Feathering on and off the gas, I just drift and drift and drift and drift as much as I can for as long as I can. Woohoo!
Then it's on to our high-speed section, which means they will be driving
our brand new Camaro. Yeah. Drop it in drive and go. And this is the eye of the needle, and it's gonna happen at 50k an hour. Swish, oh, I hate the eye of the needle.
Drivers learn to do this challenge, they have to look far up the road and avoid the arches with their peripheral vision.
And then that's gonna lead me to, oh, get out wide, a slalom.
Through the slalom, I'm supposed to maintain 50,
Maintain 50.
but I creep up to 62.
Now find the handbrake, because I'm gonna do a handbrake turn this way, that way, and woohoo, yeah, baby, just like that. This mega challenge course ends with a balancing ramp. But if they just crawl along, it should be just another inch. Ah, yes. It should balance perfectly.
The entire Mega Challenge course took me 18 minutes. Brad is up first.
Here he goes, 50 kilometers an hour into the first corner. He's not allowed to hit the brakes until the flags, and if he looks where he wants to go, he should make it around there. Holy
Well, he didn't make it around there.
oops, that's okay.
In the rims,
Attaboy, take your time.
Brad isn't perfect, but Donna is. When we met Donna, she would have been raising Brad's anxiety in this situation, barking orders.
There, just take your time.
But now, Donna's keeping quiet.
Donna's doing way better. She's being calm and cool.
Brad, though, hasn't figured out how to be cool.
He hasn't figured it out at all.
In the turnaround corral, Brad is sliding backwards on an emotional level.
Don't defeat yourself, baby. I know, I know, I know. You're not a loser, Brad. Don't say that.
Every
point, man? Calm down. You're shaking, man. Hey?
Yeah, mama.
When Brad gets to the donut-making zone,
Make that bitch swing.
Donna encourages Brad to give the car more gas.
Give her, yeah.
But Brad just isn't peeling out.
These aren't donuts. These are just driving in fast circles.
Think about it. What did Philippe teach you? Don't defeat yourself. Come on, you know it.
Eventually, Brad gets the rear wheels spinning while feathering on and off the gas, and this time, Brad succeeds.
That's our first real donut.
Hey, whoa.
That means
It's Camaro time.
Brad's final high-speed challenge
Begins now.
Last time Brad did the eye of the needle, Donna screamed and caused a crash.
You're at 50.
Today, Donna doesn't scream, and Brad doesn't hit the first two arches. But Donna can't handle it, and she starts screaming, which causes crashing.
No, I'm not going fast enough.
It's okay. Bad.
A self-inflicted knuckle wound might make Brad Canada's worst driver.
I know.
He got too emotional. Period.
After the break, Lance and Dale drive the Mega Challenge.
Right through the wall.
Holy...
It's the final episode of Canada's Worst Driver. And on our Mega Challenge course, Brad punched out an ugly run, then punched out the steering wheel.
Bad.
Lance is up next.
And there he goes.
Going into the 50k an hour corner, Lance speeds and he locks up the brakes without looking where he wants to go.
Man. Driving 101. Look where you want to go, not where you're going.
On the reversing section,
Watch your rims on your side.
Lance doesn't look good at all.
And that's bad. That's very, very bad, actually.
I got a lot of room over there. Tons.
It's when drivers go over rims and through rims and into garbage cans and just keep on going that I really find myself in kind of pain.
No. Yeah, I hit something. Run around. I got a lot of room. Yeah.
Eventually, Lance bulldozes his way to the donut zone.
All right, so we have 5 minutes.
After 5 minutes of trying, Lance never even manages to do half a donut. When he gets in the Camaro, Lance seems nervous, but he goes with gusto.
Hit 50.
Now he's at 60. Now 70. Now 77.
You're going too fast, man. You're doing like 80 through there.
Whoa. Doc, I think the Camaro and Lance are in the same boat. Neither of them's fixable.
On the slalom, Lance loses control and he isn't ready for the handbrake turn.
All right, get your hand on the brake, come on. That was crazy, man.
What's crazy is that Lance was ever given a driver's license in the first place. Lance says he's greatly improved.
Before I came to rehab, I didn't know anything. So this is much better.
Dale is up next.
When you get to the corner, look where you want to go. I'll tell you when to brake. Now, let go.
Dale wants to go left, but she only looks at the wall.
You didn't let go of the brake.
In the precision steering section,
Go wide, go wide. Oh, yeah, too wide.
Dale is good at predicting,
Now, I'm gonna hit this. I already hit it.
but terrible at reversing. And she still doesn't understand front-end swing.
Now she's not looking at this one. That's what we mean by front-end swing. You can do this, not like that. Watch your front-end swing, though.
I hate to say this, but in rehab, Dale appears to have not changed much. Dale doesn't do 5 minutes of donuts. Dale does something that might more accurately be described as...
Oh, I hit the car.
That's okay.
Dale does damage.
Hit a car.
Turn that way, and as the back end slides out, counter steer. You almost had it.
Except I hit the donuts.
Dale spent so much time in the reverse section, she's racing to beat the darkness.
50 kilometers an hour. Make us proud.
Okay.
Let's go, 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 go.
Dale goes through the first one
Thread the needle. Look at the next one. Look at the next one.
and glances off the second.
Look at the next one. Look at the next one. Look at the next one. Yeah, look at the next one. Look at the next one. Look at the next one. Yeah, slalom. Slalom. Slalom through it.
There's unpredictable Dale. She did well there.
Keep it going. Keep it going. That's awesome.
Dale botches the handbrake turn. But there is good news. Thanks to John telling her to look at the next arch instead of the one she's driving through, Dale now understands why we always say, look where you want to go.
Look where you want to go. So don't look at the first one, look at the second one if you have to go there. I mean, I know, I get it. I get the concept. Finally!
Dale thinks she's not Canada's worst driver.
I'm determined that I'm going to be the best driver in Canada.
When we come back,
I can't go.
Canada's worst drivers take me on a breathtaking cruise past Niagara Falls. It's time for the final challenge in Canada's Worst Driver Season 6, the public road test, which was supposed to be done in our brand new Camaro. But that car would be illegal on public roads in this condition.
So we'll do the final road test in a Porsche.
And they'll be taking this powerfully sexy, mint condition Porsche Boxster through the colorful streets of Niagara Falls on a 45-minute-long drive with 30 turns through some of the busiest and most distracting real estate in the country. Lance has no idea he'll be driving a Porsche.
Ah, If ever you want to stop, we stop. If ever you cry or if ever you throw up, we're pulling over. Okay. Okay? All right. When you're at home, are you ever calm when you're driving? Nope. Never. Never.
Perhaps Lance operating a machine this powerful is making you anxious. But we've activated a governor on this Porsche, which limits its power.
See how you gave it gas there and it didn't really take off?
Yeah, no, it's good.
got a limiter on it, okay? So it won't take off.
When Lance sees the public road,
Holy cow.
his anxiety level gets ratcheted up.
And you want to do this drive, correct?
Yep.
Okay. You're gonna turn left on Niagara River Parkway and watch those pedestrians, hey?
Yeah.
Take your time, Lance. Take your time, Lance.
Lance drives slowly, but his breathing accelerates.
There's a lot of friggin' people.
You're not gonna look at the people. Where are you gonna look? You okay?
Lance doesn't look okay, and he doesn't sound very good either.
I don't want to drive.
If you don't want to drive, you stop right now. Pull over, pull over.
Lance pulls over, but suffers a heart-racing panic attack.
You hyperventilating or throwing up? Breathe, Lance. Okay. Lance, do you need us to call someone?
We call 911. And Lance gets the attention he needs.
This is not a man who should drive.
Yeah.
Brad won't be driving me through Niagara Falls.
New life starts now.
Thank you.
Driving me would be pointless. Driving Donna is the test Brad will face every day when he goes home.
Okay, and then you're gonna turn left onto Niagara River Parkway.
For Brad's drive, I'll be right behind him.
I feel like a tourist myself now. Look, the falls.
Left turns used to intimidate Brad, but
He's done that just fine.
Left at Falls View Boulevard.
Donna's demeanor has improved too.
Left here.
However, if Donna had her way, things would be moving faster.
You know what? I got a feeling if you were to nose out there a little bit, people would probably stop for you.
Probably isn't good enough odds.
I can't go. But now it's the bikes.
In time, Brad safely continues. No drama. When we come back, Brad finishes, and
I won't kill you.
Excellent.
Dale begins.
I don't want to kill people.
For their final challenge before we name Canada's worst drivers, the nominees are driving on a 30-turn route around Niagara Falls.
I don't want to drive.
Lance didn't make it,
It's a lot of pressure.
and Brad has lost me.
Anybody see a bad driver in a Porsche?
But Brad's newfound car handling skills get him and Donna back on track without damaging the Porsche.
Hey, babe.
Now, you might think that Donna dragged Brad to rehab to emasculate him.
I can't thank you enough for doing this for us, Brad. Took a lot of balls to do this.
But in fact, this couple attended rehab together for the reward at the end.
Oh, look at the rainbow. Look at the rainbow.
Rainbow.
Oh, wow, look at that.
High five that bitch. Right.
Brad made a lot of mistakes, but he made his wife very happy.
Such a good boy you are, you know that? I picked the winner.
Dale isn't stressed at all.
What's the worst that can happen?
What's the worst that can happen? Are you serious?
No, I meant, like, what? No, I'm going to be very careful. I mean, no, I won't kill you.
Excellent.
To start, Dale wants to back up.
You'll hit that thing if you back up.
What thing?
There's a sign right behind you.
The legs of the sign are sticking
Okay,
out.
all right.
All right, Dale, take care of us.
Within 5 minutes of driving, Dale gets into a left turn lane, but cruises straight through the intersection.
And now you're in the oncoming traffic lane.
At Falls View Boulevard, Dale is well behind the stop line when the light turns yellow. And she's still in the intersection when the light turns red.
Going through a yellow.
If you're able to stop at a yellow, you're legally bound to stop.
Okay, all right.
Do you know that?
Something I didn't know. I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
What did you think they meant?
You had to be cautious, but you can go through them.
Dale's next turn is
Left.
Left, Dale. Okay, you're in the right turn lane now.
Oh.
Dale lines up for her left turn, but there's a blue van parked here that wants to turn left. If Dale and the van both go at the same time, they'll collide. So, who has the right of way?
Who has the right of way, Dale? Her or you?
Me.
And with that, Dale pushes illegally into the intersection.
See how we're in the oncoming traffic lane?
Yeah.
To determine the right of way, just remember, the driver to the right always has the right. The blue van is on Dale's right, so it has the right of way.
That's super dangerous, Dale.
Yeah, you're right.
This is basic traffic law, and she doesn't know it.
I'm surprised I haven't killed anybody.
Dale really wants to go straight.
Now, in this lane, we're gonna go straight, is that correct?
Well, we're in the middle lane.
Okay. This is a right turn lane, I'm pretty sure.
Let's keep in mind that Dale is on her best behavior today. But she runs a red light, and then she changes lanes without signaling.
When you change lanes like that, you have to signal.
You're absolutely right.
She straddles lane markings,
And now you're in 2 lanes at once.
and she doesn't even know which side of the road she's on.
And so now we're driving in the wrong lane into oncoming traffic, okay?
Oh my gosh.
When Dale finally gets some open road in front of her, she speeds up to 20 an hour over the limit.
How fast are you going?
I'm going about almost 50.
You think you're doing 50?
I'm going...
Dale, you're going 70. See the speedometer?
Oh, I'm looking at... Okay.
You've been looking at the wrong dial.
Yeah, I have.
At the final intersection, Dale exhibits one of the habits that got her into rehab in the first place.
We're back where we started.
We're back where we started.
Yep. It feels like deja vu all over again.
I don't think I'm going to be Canada's first driver.
After the break, someone is named Canada's worst driver. It's time for our experts to decide who is Canada's worst driver. Dale feels like she's changed enough to avoid our unwanted title.
Regardless of the outcome, I still have learned a lot.
She didn't display what she learned on the Mega Challenge.
Went into a brick wall.
Luckily made out of cardboard.
Yes.
But it's the road test where this grandmother was most dangerous.
Dale, you were driving in the left-hand lane,
I know.
facing the oncoming traffic.
I know. There's a lot of things that I still didn't know that you pointed out, like even a yellow light. That means stop unless you can't.
I'm glad you got the message now, but boy.
I have learned so much about driving, so much about myself, and oh my gosh, I'm lucky in 30 years that I haven't killed someone. I really am. I'm lucky.
I agree.
On our Mega Challenge course, Brad drove like a killer.
I thought I anticipated doing a better job, but it was just, it didn't click for me again. My emotions got the better of me.
On the all-important public drive, Brad did a better job, thanks in large part to Donna's support.
Nice.
She has a bigger impact into my driving ability and skill on an emotional level.
Well, I hope you're prepared for her to know that because she's right behind you.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Welcome, Donna.
In rehab, Donna learned as much as Brad.
I was in absolute, complete denial before, but I've realized how much I can absolutely hinder his driving. Absolutely. And I take full responsibility for my part I've played in it. Absolutely. It's hard to take a big swallow and be a big girl and say, I'm very sorry for contributing to what we've had to go through.
On the final public drive, Lance went through a breathing fit that scared me.
Why did you bring a paper bag on that drive?
I've had a paper bag with me the entire time. Just in case I have like an episode, I have the paper bag.
An anxiety attack.
We're here talking about my driving. We're not here to talk about my issues.
We're just a little worried about you.
Yeah, you know what? I've heard that throughout this entire experience, you know?
You experience emotional extremes that are not utterly relevant to what's going on around you.
Thank you, doctor, for your opinion. I appreciate it.
And I'm wondering if you've ever talked to anyone about this, talked to a professional about it.
I don't need to talk to a professional about it.
Deciding who is Canada's worst driver is something we agree on after a well-thought-out 20-minute deliberation.
Well, we've reached the end of Canada's Worst Driver, Season 6, which means it's time for me to name the country's most abysmal motorist and give them this ugly hunk of junk trophy. Brad, I have to say this really bluntly. You're our final graduate.
Was there ever any doubt?
Congratulations, Brad.
Brad deserves congratulations indeed. Motivated by a need to serve his family, Brad persevered through rehab.
You're a good boy.
And along the way,
No!
Donna got rehabilitated too.
You're part of the problem here.
I'm realizing that. You know, he may be a bad driver, but, you know, I'm a pretty bad passenger, apparently.
Brad's new stash of driving skills
I know how to drive.
and Donna's growing silence is the reason why Brad is not the recipient of our unwanted trophy.
It's an ugly piece of crap, you know?
He worked hard for this.
Brad Hengerer, this year's final graduate.
Got myself a new husband after this, huh?
I believe you do.
And then there were two.
It's time to name Canada's worst driver.
Dale? You're not Canada's worst driver? Hang in there. You okay?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Okay?
Thank you.
Dale is not the worst, but she's not a rehab center graduate either.
You hearing that?
I'm hearing it, but I don't know what it means.
It means you're striking something from where the sound is coming from.
That car.
In rehab, it didn't take long before Dale said she was going through a metamorphosis.
The wiring in my brain is changing.
Dale didn't really look like she was changing, but she insisted.
I am changing, okay? I am changing. My whole mentality, everything has changed. I sucked at driving.
You still do?
Yeah, a little bit, but not like I did.
What Dale did in rehab convinced us that she will forever be a bad driver.
I am not a bad driver anymore, Andrew.
After Dale's public drive following her time in rehabilitation, it's our official opinion that Dale should never drive in public again until she gets retested.
You shouldn't be on public roads again until you retake your permit test.
Yeah, I will.
Dale is free to go.
You worked hard.
Thank you. You did awesome.
Oh, I know.
You're good with driving her home, hey, John?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Drive safe.
Congratulations, Dale.
Thank you, Andrew.
Hi, Dale.
Everything has changed.
After leaving rehab, Dale never did get retested, but she still drives every day. That means Lance from Ottawa is Canada's worst driver. We're giving him the title because when the pressure was on, Lance consistently failed. And if you're keeping track, you'll know that this year, Lance failed more challenges than anyone else in rehab.
Oh! What the is wrong with me?
Actually, Lance has a name for what he believes might be wrong with him.
This is my non-medical opinion, but I think I have automotive bipolarism.
Automotive bipolarism is a term Lance made up, and it describes the phenomenon of having one personality away from a car and a polar opposite personality inside a car. Away from a car, Lance is a well-dressed man, exuding joie de vivre and confidence.
High five.
But inside a car, Lance is a hyperventilating mess who either throws up or cries like an injured 8-year-old.
Lance presents an image to the world very, very carefully that is polished and competent. It disappears immediately at the wheel of a car.
I don't know what to do. Should I just give it gas? I'm so sorry.
In the end, Lance insisted he could drive through the city of Niagara Falls.
You want to do this drive?
Yeah.
Let's give her.
But in fact, Lance could not drive through the city of Niagara Falls.
I don't want to drive.
There's no shame in having anxiety. But Lance intends to keep on driving without getting any help. And that is a problem.
The first thing I'm going to do once I get back to Ottawa is trade in my car for an automatic. That's what I'm going to do.
After leaving rehab, Lance did indeed get a new car and no help. And most days, he's still out there driving. Lance from Ottawa.
I suck.
Canada's worst driver.